And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda ji commences tonight's satsang with the Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called I Am Air. In the ocean waves, I play without any care. I age in snowy hair, rejoicing in youth and a spring fair. Breaking the mountains, moving the stars. I am the all-powerful wind, giving praise and and wrap myself in the soft clouds. I mingle with tender dew on morning flowers, giving wings to the flying white swans. Opening the path to roam their fragrance, I blow the trumpet of thunder and gather clouds, causing the rains to run over the whole universe. I am laughing in sporting rivers. Still I am like a small child, drinking nectar from We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is December the 11th, 2020, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 232. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Neelambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He is carrying powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas by Goswami Tulsidas ji in Ayodhya Kand, verse number, we are moving towards 288. Following the storyline, remember Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, they are in the forest and they have their Rama ashram, and Bharata has come with his party from Ayodhya to persuade Rama to go back and be the king of Ayodhya. And also the party from Janakpur, King Janaka's, and people from Mithila, Puri, Janakpuri, they have all come there. So there are two parties are there. Janaka's party and the royal party of Bharata. All have come along with all the things needed to coronate Rama. But all this depends upon the role of Bharata. Bharata is bhakti. In a storyline, Bharata is waiting and he is trying to persuade King Janaka and others and Vasishtha to enable Rama, to impact on Rama in such a way that he must go back to Ayodhya. And at this stage, Sunayana, the queen of King Janaka, brings the news of Bharata to King Janaka, how Bharata is so full of devotion for Rama And all people from King Janaka's country and from Ayodhya, they are all deeply involved in seeing Rama become the king. And King Janaka, hearing this, feels exceedingly delighted regarding Bharata's glorious character. Bharat charit ki rati kartuti, dharamshil gun bimal vibhuti. Samujhat sunat sukhad sab kahu, suchi surasari ruchi nidar sudhahu. All people, how they are impacted by Bharata's devotion. Bharata's devotion is like a blossom, and the blossom has petals. One petal is kirti, glory. Bharata doesn't need raising people's view about him. His popularity emanates from the heart of others. So that's kirti, the type of fame that you sing about the fame of a person. If the singing is backed up by a political reason or some other reason, then it is not real kirti. It's just like the artificial scent on an artificial flower. That's not real perfume. The real perfume is from the real flower, fragrant flower. So that type of devotional movement makes you real flower. You are practicing all the yogas, but if devotional movement has not started, you are lacking kirti. Karani, your conduct. Dharma, your pursuit of ethical value or spiritual value of life. Sheel, your righteous conduct. Guna, the special qualities, the special glorious attributes of bhakti that manifests in your personality. Nirmal Aishwarya, pure glory. All these are practically synonyms. Listening to these glorious attributes of a devotee, one is exceedingly delighted in a spiritual way. The real delight is kindled in your heart when devotion enters your heart. And in purity, this Bharata's devotion is like Ganges water, Shuchi Surasari. Not only like Ganges water, but goes beyond Ganges water in purifying the world, and beyond nectar that gives immortality. Beyond implies simply that in the karmic world, when you turn to Ganges, you are trying to wash away your sins and increase your virtuous qualities. But virtuous qualities so that you can have pleasant condition in your life. That state of Ganga, which enhances your good karma, that stage is not perfect stage. The Ganga that enables your soul to turn to liberation, that Ganga is compared to Bharata's devotion. Bharata is the embodiment of bhakti movement. So all the praises you hear of Bharata are praises of bhakti devotion. Devotional purification is paving the way to nivritti. Ordinary purification paves the way for good karma. You must understand in a profound way the big difference between the two. But difference is only to tickle your brain. It doesn't, in practice, nothing changes. You continue to cultivate virtuous qualities, no matter how limited it is, but with the understanding that it is not just to improve your karma, but to develop love of God that leads you to liberation. When you have love of God, then what you ask of God? You ask of God to become led by His will. You don't ask of God of any expectation of yours. That's called bin mol bik jao. When you ask a favor, there is always a price involved in that favor. In early stage, whenever you are doing prayer, etc., you are asking a favor of God. But when you are in advanced state, you don't ask. You do what God wills. So no asking, and no pointing out how much sadhana I have done, oh God, and you have been sitting lazy. I'm joking. Niravadhi guna nirupam purush bharatu bharata samajani kahiya sumeru ke serasam kavikula mati sakuchani. King Janaka is telling his wife, Sunayana, when Sunayana has told so much about Bharata and urges Janaka to do something that Bharata gains his wishes of taking Rama away to Ayodhya. Nirabadhi guna sunirupam parashu bharatu bharata samajani kahiye sumeru ki serasam kavikula mata sakichani. King Janaka is saying the virtuous qualities of Bharata are boundless and they are incomparable. Whenever virtuous qualities are limited, that's in the realm of sakamya involvement in your sadhana. Your sadhana has two stages, sakamya, nishkamya. Sakamya, you always look for virtuous qualities and you try to develop them. And develop them so that you will be more prosperous. You will turn your adversity into prosperity, but when karma wanes, your prosperity moves away. So nothing that you gain led by karma is permanent. But that sakamya aspect, which maintains the karmic bondage, you don't go beyond it. Real devotion removes this karmic bondage. So now the virtuous qualities that you gain, they are intensifying love of God. And ultimate climax of that love is complete communion with God. It is same as moksha, liberation. And from another angle, as the devotion begins to grow, then every aspect of your sadhana becomes more effective. Your karma becomes karma yoga in a profound way. Your dhyana becomes more dynamic Raj Yoga practice. Your jnana becomes much more effective. All four yogas, they are two interdependent, and there are four aspects of spiritual movement. But among the four yogas, bhakti is what you must look for and secure. Practice all of them, but bhakti must be highlighted. If you are missing bhakti, then your practice remains immature. Continue even the immature practice, but look for that bhakti state and enhance it. And that will require satsanga and profound blessings of God. Agam sabahi bar nat bar barani, jim jalheen meen gamudharani, bharat amit mahima sunurani, janahi ramun sakahi bakani. O great queen, describing the glory of Bharata is as difficult as for a fish to get out of the water and walk on the earth. O Queen, only Rama knows the glory of Bharata. No one else can fathom the depth of Bharata's glory. Nobody else can describe properly. The glory is indescribable. Barani saprema Bharata anubhau, tiejiye ki ruchi lakhi kaharau. Having described the Bharata's glorious attribute, and in order to please the queen, because queen had come to favor Bharata, That was what she wanted King Janaka to be persuaded to give his view in favor of Bharata. Because Janaka's view was being expected in solving the problem. What should be done? Should Rama go back? Or should he be coronated? And various other topics in that direction. So his wife had told all that, and in response, King Janaka says, that I will do that which enables Lakshmana to return to Ayodhya, and Bharata stays in the forest. This is what everybody wants. Now he is just giving a proposition. Devi parantu Bharata Raghubara ki priti pratiti jai nahi tarki. O Devi, the love that exists between Bharata and Rama and the trust between them, that's not within the limit, not within the range of buddhi, intellect, and vichar. Intellect has two stages: intellectual understanding and spiritual understanding. The intellectual understanding is buddhi, and subtle mystical understanding is vichar, reflection. But love of God goes beyond. You may say, why should a person practice something? Why vichar? Why listening to the teachings? No. The fingers that are pointing to the pole star are far from the pole star. And yet, by looking at the fingers, you know where the pole star is. In other words, the role of words and concepts are far from the real experience. But however, they create upalakshana. They direct your finger as if finger is being directed to the goal. देवी परंतु भरत रघुबर की प्रीति प्रतीति जाई नहीं तर की. O Devi, the love that exists between Bharata and Rama and the trust they have between them cannot be brought in the limits of buddhi and vichar. भरतु अवधि स्नेह ममता की यद्यपि राम सीम समता की. Rama is the climax of samatha. His samatha, equanimity, goes beyond all limits. Likewise, Bharata is the climax of prem, divine love, and divine mamata. Your me and mine both become deeply involved in God. God is me. Just like you love me, God is just like your very soul. And His all glory is mine. Me and mine has turned into divine stage. That's the role of mantra, Namah, neither me nor mine. That means God alone is being recognized in your personality. So bhakti is leading you to that type of attainment. And that attainment is same as jnana, characterized by absolute equanimity. Try to understand simple point. In meditation, you are looking for equanimity. And you gain some degree of equanimity, but you are never fulfilled. In spite of all that, you complain. I've been practicing meditation for a long time. And what have I gained? So your equanimity has not touched your heart. But your equanimity matches with devotional movement. You will not be complaining. A mother doesn't complain against her baby. परमारथ स्वारथ सुख सारे भरत न सपने हूँ बनहु निहारे. All Bharata's love for Rama is called Ananya Bhakti, Ananya Prem. Means there is no anya, there is no other than God, Rama. So wherever your mind goes, you are seeing Rama underlying it. Brahman alone is the reality behind all. And that Brahman is Rama. Happiness is described, rather human pursuit is described in three ways: Paramartha, Swartha and Sukh. Paramartha, improving your karmic status. Paramartha literally means absolute purpose. But in this context, Paramartha means the view of the masses. Going to hell is unearth, is evil. Paramarth, going to heaven, that's Paramarth. In this context, that's what how it has been used. So people work for heavenly status, or they work for swarth, whatever pleases their selfish wishes, or they work for pleasure. But these limited forms of happiness they don't tempt Bharata even in his dream. So Bharata is being described as the bhakti ideal. If you have bhakti, then your goal is nowhere in heaven, nowhere in the pursuit of your desires, and nowhere in the pursuit of worldly pleasure. Sadhana siddhi rama paganehu, mohilaki parata bharata mata ehu. His only sadhana, Bharata's sadhana, is love for the lotus feet of Rama. And that is his highest attainment. भोरे हूँ भरत न पेली हहीं, मनसहु राम रजाई, करियन सोचु सनेह बस, कहे भूप बिलखाई. Raja, the king, overwhelmed by love of God and in the form of Bharata, he says to Sunayana that even by mistake Bharata will not go contrary to the order of Rama. So, O Queen, don't worry about him. He will get the highest blessing. The moral behind it, if you are developing devotion and enjoying devotional relation with God, now do not hold any question in your mind, will I be fulfilled, will I not be fulfilled? Because that devotion itself is so powerful that it's like this sun coming out of the movement, removal of cloud, and you cannot doubt its power. So, Queen, do not be overpowered by sneh, mamata, the sense of affection. Let not your affection cloud your reason. राम भरत गुण गणत प्रति सप्रीति, निशिदम पति पलक समबीति. Thus they went on talking about the virtuous qualities of Bharata whole night. And the entire night passed like the winking of the eye. One wink, closing, opening. राज समाज प्रात जुग जागे, नाई नाई सुर पूजन लागे. Next morning, very early in the morning, both parties woke up. They took their baths in the sacred water and offered worship to gods. Ge nahai gur pahi raghurai, bandi charan bole rukh pai. Sri Rama also followed the same routine, have taken baths, and then he approached Guru Vasishtha, having offered adorations to the lotus feet and having received his permission. He said, नाथ भरतपुर जन महतारी, शोक बिकल बनवास दुखारी. O divine sage, Bharata, all people from Ayodhya and mothers, they are afflicted with sorrow and the pain while dwelling in this forest. सहित समाज राउ मिथिलेशु, बहुत दियस भय सहत कलेशु. उचित होई सोई कीजिए नाथा, हित सब ही कर रो रे हाथा. And King Janaka, along with his party, they have also suffered so much the hardship of living in the forest for so many days. So therefore, O sage, do what is needed to be done. Doing good to all these people, that is in your hands. अस कही अति सकुचे रघुरावु, मुनि पुलके लखि सील सुभाऊ. The manner in which Rama said to Vasishtha was with great humility, and sage was so thrilled to behold Rama's gracious nature. तुम बिनु राम सकल सुख साजा, नरक शरीर दूर राज समाजा. And sage Vasishtha, thrilled with Rama's love, he said, O Rama, without you, this whole, both parties, party of Janaka and party of Ayodhya, they consider all luxuries and enjoyments of the world just like hell. In other words, without you, everything is hell for them. So they are not really suffering. प्राण प्राण के जीव सुख के सुख राम. तुम सज चात सात सोहात गृह, तिन्ह तिन्ह विधि बाम. O Ram, you are life of life, soul of soul, happiness of happiness. All these are allegorical literature, simply implying you are the absolute. Whenever we talk of life, we are talking about pranas, vital forces. But vital forces are not the real life. Eternal life is your identity. Aham Brahmasmi. So it is life of life. And that's Rama. Soul of soul. Whenever we turn to soul, you are turning to reflected sun in a jar of water. And real sun is the soul of the soul. When you talk of happiness, your mind goes after what you experience through your limited personality, pleasures, or happiness that is limited, relative type of happiness. Real happiness is just like reflected suns also have their illuminations. But compare their illuminations with the illumination of the sun. So, if illuminations of reflected sun are happiness, the real sun is happiness of the happiness. So hop out of happiness. Separated from you, those who find happiness in their homes, indeed, Vidhata, Brahma is against them. That's allegorical terminology, implying that who will, having tasted the joy of your communion, would like to go separated from you. Any separation is hell. And therefore, all these people are not really suffering. So don't worry about these two parties. So sukhu karamu dharamu chari jau, jahna rama pad pankaj bhau. Where love for lotus feet of Rama does not exist, there happiness, karma and dharma, they exist only in palabras. And better they should be burnt up. And practice of sadhana, where Ram Prem is not highlighted. That yoga is kuyoga. Kuyoga is a wrong practice. Yoga is union, kuyoga is bad conjunction. तुम बिनु दुखी सुखी तुम तेहि, तुम जानहु जिय जो जहि केहि. Separated from you, that separation is the cause of pain. Happiness is only because of your presence. And whatever lies in the heart of anyone, you are the knower of everyone's heart. Raur ayasu sib sir sabahi ke, vidit kripalai gati sabani ke. And your words will be obeyed by everyone. And you are the knower of their heart. So Vasishtha is pleading Rama to do favor for all those people. Apu ashramah dhariye paun, bhayu saneha shithil muni rau. So let's go to the ashram. Vasishtha said, Kari pranam tab Ram sidhaye. Rama, having offered adorations, returned to his ashram. Rishidhari dhir janak pahi aaye. And Vasishtha came to King Janaka. These are storylines. Ram bachan guru nripahi sunaye, शील स्नेह सुभाए सुहाए. Sage Vasishtha overwhelmed by Rama's righteous conduct and his love. He shared his view with King Janaka. O king, do that which is good for all and which is in accord with dharma. Jnana nidhana sujana suchi dharma dhira narapal tum binu asamanjasa saman ko samarthe hi kal. O king, in other words, Sage Vasishtha is giving the responsibility of offering his decision about this matter. Who will stay in the forest and who will rule Ayodhya? And that decision ultimately is divine will. So Bharata, in order to become mature devotee, has to bow down to the will of Rama. And in that lies the happiness of all. Jnana nidhana suchana suchi dharam dhira narapal tum binu asamanjas saman ko samarthe hi kal. O king, O King Janaka, you are storehouse of wisdom, goodness, purity, and you are firmly rooted in dharma. No one else can resolve this problem at this time. Everyone is looking up to you for your decision about what should happen. Suni muni bachana janaka anurage lakhi gati jnana virag virage shitil saneh gunata manamahi aaye iha kinha bhala nahi. Hearing the words of Sage Vasishtha, King Janaka became overwhelmed with divine love. His status was such that even Jnana and Vairagya developed dispassion towards him. If you dive deep into the ocean, you forget about your swimming lessons, your swimming teacher. So that's what's being pointed out. You practice jnana and vairagya, these are like swimming lessons. They are disciplines. But when you are already diving in love, what can jnana and vairagya do to you? And King Janaka began to think within himself, why have I come here? Rama hi rae kaheu ban jana, kinha apu priya prem prabana, हम अब बनते बन ही पठाई, प्रमुदित फिर अब विवेक बढ़ाई. King Rashatha let Rama go to forest, and while giving permission to Rama to go to forest, he gave up his life. But we are going to send Rama to the forest and we are not going to give up our life. These are all high divine sentiments. How is it we don't? In other words, it's simple to condense the whole matter. That if we are compelled to let Rama stay in the forest, what's the purpose of our life? King Dasharatha sent that and died. How wonderful. And if we send him and still go on living, how miserable. And with this I'm going to conclude for now. Om. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Om, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Rasa grace of God, of Rama, over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Remember, Bhakti is the middle, most powerful aspect of spiritual progress. And for your deeper fulfillment. If heart is not fulfilled, then your attainments remains shallow. And the heart can be fulfilled only with love of God. But love of God is love of your essential nature. The Atma within you is the divine self. That Atma, absolute Paramatma, is Rama. To love your innermost self, that's the whole purpose of satsanga and the purpose of life and the purpose of this entire creation. And with this, may all be blessed. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat.
Are there any questions tonight? And just a reminder, the the magazine that you'll receive in February will be a celebration of, you know what, Swamiji's 90th birthday, February 3rd, believe it or not, 90th birthday. So we hope by the beginning of January, all of your articles of appreciation will be in. So this will be a very splendid gift to Swamiji, our February magazine, in celebration of his birthday. We conclude for tonight.